said she's tired of blow. I said let's hit the road. My Civic's tied up somewhere near the Stone Fire. I hope you got wheels to joyride. She got it to her car twice the size of mine. V8 Jaguar, oh my.
Right now I have 6 cars. I have a 1994 RX7. I have a 1972 Mazda RX2. We're at 13B swap. I have a 1972 Datsun 510 with a 12A rotary swap. I have a 1987 Volvo 240 DL. I have a 1981 Toyota Starlet KP61. And I have a 1982 VW Caddy pickup. I am addicted to cars. Blame my wife for that one. The 1972 Mazda RX2 has a 13B Turbo 2 engine, but it's carbureted. It has Weber carbs on it, side carbs. It has coilovers. It has 15x7 zero offset Kone rewind wheels. It has Cobra racing seat, Momo steering wheel. It's basic. It's a very, very nice, reliable car. I mean, that thing is smooth on the freeway. It's smoother than my brand new Ford Flex. Like, that thing is smooth. My 1972 Datsun 510, it has an 84 12A rotary engine on it. It has a street port. It has the Racing Beat Holiday 650 carb on it. And it's a beast. It runs extremely well. It wants to kill me every time I drive it, but other than that, it runs very, very good. My 1982 VW Caddy pickup has a stock 1.7 liter engine. It has Rixland coilovers in the front, and I made my own drop plates. So I did a drop plate for the rears that are 3.5 inches, and the race lights in the front. It has JDM flares, wrench and a socket for a shifter. It has Coca-Cola doors. It has a European front bumper, and it's pretty much my daily. So my 1987 Volvo 240 it's got cut springs. I was looking for this Volvo for 2.5 years, and I was looking for a beat up, rust holes everywhere. Like, I wanted a sleeper. Like, I wanted a piece of crap Volvo wagon so I can drop my spare REW engine that I have, and I can just smoke people in the streets. And I wanted to pay less than $1,000. That was my goal. Less than $1,000, Volvo 240, 5-speed. That was a rust bucket, none running. That was my goal. I found out for $800. It was running. It was running very good. There was no rust in it. Freaking thing, it's like a brand new car. So I don't replace it until it breaks. So I'm driving it still. This freaking thing drives so good. DFD right now has started off with a TO4C HKS full kit, and we'll talk about the turbo. I ended up switching turbos to a Garage Life turbo. It has a 66 trim intake, 84 trim exhaust. It has air suspension by Airforce. It has Stoptech brakes in the front. It's got WORX GS4 wheels. It has Bridgestone's R11 wheel tires in the back. Seibon hood. It has Vertex USA full body kit. It has Russo garage rear fender flares. It has a red interior, which I ended up doing. It used to be tan, and I'm not a fan of tan interior, so I swapped it to red. That's pretty much it. I got into cars when I was a young boy, still living in Puerto Rico, and my uncle, which he was like my father, he's the one that raised me. He will show up to the house with a different car every week, and all of his cars were lowered, hooked up and stuff like that. So that's when I started having the passion for cars. when I actually started getting into cars and actually working on cars was after I joined the Marine Corps in the year 2000. I came in and I was just a boot PFC, and one of the sergeants took me under his wing and started showing me how to work on cars. And I first started with V-Dubs, Volkswagens, the old school 70s, 80s Volkswagens. And from there, it just evolved to this. Rotaries and Puerto Rican, it's already in our blood. And growing up in Puerto Rico, you see toasters and with rotaries in it. And anything that has wheels has a freaking rotary in it. Coming here to the States, I have a lot of my friends started doing rotary swaps and driving rotary cars here, and it just grew on me. But like everyone else, everybody's afraid of rotary, so I love them. I just didn't want to get into them because I didn't want to get into the problems of rotaries. But one day I just decided to go for it, and I bought my one of my dream cars, which it was the 510, which already had a rotary swap from a good buddy of mine that he couldn't finish the project, so I took it and I finished it myself. Issues owning a rotary car. The only issue that I have come across with is not building the engine ourselves, like my team. Whenever I buy a car that has already a rotary swap or a rotary in it, I run into a bunch of issues because the last owner cut so many corners, that every time I ended up pulling the engine out, and once my team built the engine, zero issues after that. My wife's Miata, for example, from day one, it was nothing but problems. And I knew like that motor wasn't running good at all. So pull that engine on that engine's build. My RX2, if you guys notice in the pictures, it has a 24 on the door. That's not a number that I like. That's the nickname of that car. My RX2 nickname is 24. I couldn't drive that car for more than 24 hours without catching on fire, leaving me on the side of the road, spilling oil everywhere, spilling fuel everywhere. Like, that car will go from point A to point B, but it will never make it to point C, ever. Whenever I used to take that car to work, my wife was like, make sure you put the trailer on the truck before you leave, because I know I'm gonna have to pick you up. And ask her, you can ask, she picked me up every time I took the car out. Until I pulled the motor out. Once I took the motor out, ever since we put the fresh motor back in it, and we did everything the right way, we rewired it, and all the corners that were cut, we took that out and we did it all ourselves. It's been the most reliable car that I've owned. What do my cars mean to me? To me, it's freedom. Whenever I'm upset, I go to the garage, pick a car, and I go for a drive. Whenever I just need to release stress, I just grab a wrench, man. I grab a wrench, I work on my cars, or I take them for a drive. It's literally my medication. People that are trying to get into the rotary scene, don't, because I need all the extra parts. I want all those extra rotaries out there. No, I'm just kidding. Don't be afraid like I was. I mean, my 510 was my first rotary car that I've owned, and when I bought it from my buddy, the guy that built that motor for him, it was the same guy that builds my engines. And the second he said his name, I was like, hey, who built the motor? And he said his name, I pulled my money, I'm like, here you go, I'm taking the car. Because that's one thing, the engine builder has a lot to do with how reliable that car is gonna be. He had the car 5.5 years with that engine in it before I bought it, and I've owned that car for over 6 years. Same motor, same engine. And I beat the living crap out of my 510. I mean, I go to the gas station, I'm redlining, bro. Like, I beat it. And so far, so good. Don't be afraid. Just buy it, go for it. And all these Apex seals, unreliable, blah, it's all crap. Just YouTube is your tool now. YouTube, learn how to do maintenance, learn how to premix, just learn tricks and tips. and it's gonna last you forever. What is running solo is like the question I get asked the most, and honestly, I always say the same thing. I have no idea. Like, this running solo started back in the early 2000s. I used to, all my cars has always been lower, and back then I used to run nitrous. I didn't believe in turbo. I used to run nitrous, and my first street car that I could actually whoop some butt in the street was a 95 Neon. And I built the long block completely built, and I put a 200 shot of nitrous in that thing. And I used to go to race legal at Qualcomm to the streets, and eyes would be wide open on how fast this thing was. And every time I go to a car meet, people will be like, hey man, who you running with? Who you running with? Because back then in the early 2000s, it was car clubs, and that's it. Car teams, car clubs, nobody was running by themselves. And I was like, I run solo, man. I'm running solo. He's like, no, come. I'm like, no, I don't want to be part of a team. I like to do my own thing. Back then, I was like, I run solo. And it was so many times people used to ask me, who you running with, that I was like, one of these days I want to make a sticker and I'm going to put it in my car, and it's going to say running solo so the question can stop. And I did. And my best friend Jorge, he was like, hey, let me get one of those stickers. And I was like, well, that defeats the purpose of running solo. But you my boy, dog. We're doing it. We are gonna run solo from now on. So it went from him to Chris and me owning 10 cars, and next thing you know, it became a crew. Yeah, a family, a crew, man. Like, that's it. Everybody has running solo. Whether you have a Rotary or not, if you're part of my clique, and everybody has a shirt, sticker, a sweater, and we hang out, we do barbecues, and every car that shows up has a running solo sticker. So that's, I guess it's a team now, man.
Shirley's house at the bar, 4 a.m. and I'm gone. She says she's tired of love. I said let's hit the road. My Civic's tied up somewhere near the Stone Fire. I hope you got wheels to joyride. She hopped into a car twice the size of mine.
So for all my chaotic events that I've had with my cars, the first person I need to thank is my wife. I was the type that used to buy a car, fix it up, and once I was done, I will sell it to buy another project. And then I will miss the first car that I sold, so I will rebuy the same make and model that I owned before. And my wife was like, why do you keep buying the same cars? I was like, because I miss the Germans. I miss the old school Japanese, you know. And she's like, just stop selling them, just keep them. And I was like, that's not a bad idea. So now we have over 10 cars in the house. So because of her, I bought the RX2, because I wasn't gonna buy it. So the first person I have to thank is my wife, number one. My biggest supporter, my son, Anthony. It's a running solo supporter since day one. Next, I need to thank David Maldonado. He's the one that actually showed me how to pick up the first wrench. I was afraid to do an oil change. I wouldn't even touch an engine bay until he was like, come on, loco, we're doing this. And he taught me, that's why I got into German. He was an old school German car freak. And that's why I got into cars with Germans, and him teaching me. He taught me how to take from every single bolt in my car to the last one. And because of that, I am what I am now. Garage Life, Daniel Kuo, that guy goes out of his way to make sure that you're taken care of. He helps you when you're not even paying him. Like, Daniel, thanks, man. Like, you've helped me a lot with my FD. DNA Garage, Louis, Danny, CC, everybody in this, just Miss DNA Garage, I can't forget you. I don't want to get beat up. But the DNA Garage family it's just that, it's a family. I mean, you go in there and they welcome you with open arms, and you feel so grateful. It's like happiness in that shop. It's amazing, those guys. Oh, my running solo team, John, Chris FD, Chris FTC. I mean, everybody, the whole team. Bradley helps me a bunch when it comes to cars to the house, washing 7-10 cars a weekend. I mean, these cars get washed every weekend. I don't know if you guys know that, but I have a car wash me by myself in my room, and we wash every car every weekend. Yeah, man, it's just in the Rotary community. Built to Apex for giving us a hand with my wife's car. I mean, there's so many companies out there and so many people that I can sit here all night and thank everybody. So if I missed you in the video, don't think that I got you right here, man. I got you right here.
Drive, Jillian, drive.